I'm Ralf Debusmann from Migros Genossenschaftsbund. That's a retailer in Switzerland. That's the logo. So I'll throw you into a typical Kafka administrator nightmare. That's what Gemini gave me for that just a few minutes ago. That's the nightmare. And how Kafi will help us to get out of this nightmare. Kafi is just an open source Python library, but very powerful for scripting uses and for all kinds of debugging things. So, what's the situation? The situation is we have a JSON schema serialized topic called products of Migros products, because I'm working for a retailer, right? And there's a qualification test looming for an application which consumes from that topic. So we have to be quick. And let's run this qualification test. I mean, okay. This is really a bit small. So now it's better. And we can see there's an error coming, so it's crashing. So we have to find out what's wrong with the topic when we consume it. And now Kafi comes into play. So you can see it's like extremely streamlined. So you just import the library. That's here. You connect to your Kafka cluster. In this case, it's a local one. And this command is, I mean, it's like a shell command. Like it gives you the first messages of the topic, and we just want to see one. Let's run it. And if you look at the value of the Kafka message down here, you can see that it directly starts with JSON. So it's a pure JSON. It's not a JSON schema serialized one. So that's probably the mistake they did when they produced the data. So we have to find out next, okay, how many of these messages are actually wrong or malformed? So for that, we use the next functionality. I mean, I only show the tip of the iceberg here. There's much more in there. So this is a filter, like in Kafka Streams, for example, where you can read the topics, the topic products, and then you can do create a Lambda function here, which essentially just tests for the magic byte, which needs to be there for JSON schema serialized values. So let's see how many of these messages are wrong. And this shows us it's 100 which are actually wrong. So next step is, because we don't want to lose that data, we do it backup. And Kafi has kind of a built-in Kafka emulator, which we spin up here. This one. We create a topic in that emulator, a backup topic. And the next step is to copy these first 100 messages from the original topic, the faulty messages, to the backup topic. All right, so that's done. Next step to make the consumer running again is to delete the wrong messages from the original topic, right? So that's a Kafka API function, delete records, which we call here. And we get the watermarks to see that the first 100 messages are now skipped, right? So we can run the qualification test again. We can run this consumer again and see whether it works now. Let's see. It works. It works. So that's nice, but still we don't have these first 100 messages, and they have to be there in the test. So that's the requirement. So we have to bring them back on the topic. And that's why we also did the backup first. So what we do now is to first get the schema ID of the good messages, which came after the bad ones. So that's what we do here. We read the first message, get the schema ID from it. And then we copy the backup data from the emulation topic back to the real Kafka topic products. And we serialize it using the JSON schema and this schema ID, which we found out. And it doesn't work. Why the hell? You know, of course, things, I mean, it should be a nightmare, so it should be at least a little bit difficult. To find out what's actually wrong with these messages, even though we correctly try to serialize them, we in this case, just get an Excel file, right? Why not? So, and that's another functionality. You can use the to-file command to basically bring messages of a topic. It could be a real Kafka topic or an emulated one into an Excel file or Parquet or whatever. This time it's Excel. No. We read this. Yeah, it's here. And when we look at the columns, it's a bit small here. I don't know if I can make it bigger. That I actually didn't try before. Here, like in Microsoft. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, so you can see that this very column here is misspelled, right? They have a typo here. It's price and not price. I mean, you know, maybe if you are older, the movie Brazil with Jonathan Pryce. Yeah, also kind of nightmarish movie. So we have to fix this, right? And the cool thing now is, because we have got this topic, this messages backed up on our emulated topic, which is actually editable, we can just open the backed up data, which is here. So that's the partitions, that's the data. And we can simply replace in the wrong key here, price with price. So already here, replace it, save it, go away. So now we fixed this backup data, and we can try to bring it back to, in a serialized form, to the original Kafka topic at the end of it, so that we have it complete and the qualification test can actually run. So let's do that. Again, it's the copy command here. You go from the backed up topic, which we fixed, back to the products topic on Kafka. He used JSON schema, and again, we used the schema ID, which we found out before. So you can see that the topic is now longer, right? So it got 100 messages on top. And we can have a look at the last message to see whether this has actually worked, and you can see it's correctly serialized. So these are it's the magic byte and the schema ID at the beginning of the value. So it all worked. So now we hope our qualification test runs with all the data. Yes. So we saved the world. You might have not noticed, but yeah. So very last step, like just to give some more functionality of Kafka away, we can actually connect to an S3 instance. I mean, this time it's Min.io on my local machine, but you can connect to any S3 instance or Azure Blob Storage, and you can copy the topic to a Parquet file, for example. So this is, again, using this to-file function. Go from Kafka to S3, create a Parquet file. Let's do that. Yeah, it's a bit slow. Yeah. But yeah. So we are done. And next, let's have a look at this Parquet file. Should be, it's not here yet. Sorry. Not practice enough. So it's here on Min.io. So that's our S3 bucket. So we have to download it here. Then I can finally see it. Yeah, that's the products Parquet file. Parquet tools show, and voila. That's basically the topic in Parquet format. We might also have a look, I mean, at these nice Swiss products. It's chocolate and cheese on this topic, to see whether what this is. For example, this one, which brings us to the Migros web page, and you can see some nice Swiss cheese here. It's actually rather cheap for Swiss. Switzerland. Okay. So that's it. So That's all of it. Thanks to my colleagues from Migros in Zurich, especially the data integration team where I'm working for, and Martin and Jason, who are the Kafka guys in that team. There's some blatant advertising, of course, which I mentioned before. So first of all, just get a copy of Kafka from GitHub. I promise to add documentation as well. Yeah. Or just install it using PyPy, right? With pip install. It's called Kafka in lowercase. Second thing, what Victor mentioned, get a copy of Streaming Databases if you want. That's the new book from Hubert and me for O'Reilly. And last but not least, please hand in, so if you're a developer or architect, abstracts to the new conference on events and streaming next year in Antwerp called Event-Centric. So that's it. Thanks.